Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Ethereum just confirmed a new bearish signal in the short term, while Bitcoin is getting extremely close to breaking below key support, which I'll talk about in just a moment, so definitely stick around. First of all, starting off on the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and over the last 1 day, not a lot has changed on this 4-day time frame, other than the fact that the Bitcoin price is moving closer towards the invalidation line for this larger bullish trend. But other than that, once again, not much has changed on this chart on this time frame over the last 1 day. So if you're new to the channel and you want to know more about this chart right here, then check out my last video on this channel. So getting straight into the daily Bitcoin chart, and right now, as of recording this video, we have seen a clean rejection here in the daily Bitcoin RSI from this descending line of resistance. And so once again, as I've been talking about over the last couple of days, this means that this bearish divergence on the daily time frame is still currently active, as I've been talking about since all the way back up here. And so once again, due to this bearish divergence still currently active on the daily time frame, and also the fact that the RSI is still forming lower highs and lower lows alongside the price here on the daily chart in the short-term trend, obviously this still means that the short-term Bitcoin trend is clearly a bearish trend, once again, as I've been saying for a while now. But if you're looking at the daily Bitcoin MACD, obviously over the last few days with that massive pump to the upside, we did see a small return in some bullish momentum on the daily time frame. But as I also said over the last few days, just because we're beginning to see a little bit more bullish momentum show up on the daily time frame, this alone does not guarantee that we are reversing from a short-term bearish trend into a short-term bullish trend. And so once again, in order to become more confident that we're really starting another short-term bullish trend, we need to see more confirmation, like for example, a proper reversal and breakout in the RSI, and ideally some higher lows and higher highs beginning to form again here on the daily time frame, which as of right now has not yet happened. But what has happened over the last 2 weeks or so is of course a major reset in the daily Bitcoin RSI from oversold territories. And if you've been watching my videos over the last 1 to 2 weeks, you'll know that around 2 weeks ago, I said the daily Bitcoin RSI entered into oversold territories, which means just in the short term, talking about the coming days or weeks, we have very limited room to the downside. And so we're due to see a bit of a reset in the RSI over the coming days or weeks from those oversold territories. And I said that usually plays out in the form of either some choppy sideways price action, if not a slight bullish relief. And obviously, since 2 weeks ago when I said that, that's pretty much exactly what we have seen over the last 2 weeks. And this has now reset the RSI further to the upside, which technically now gives us some more room to the downside. And once again, as I said back then, this is a possibility that we need to consider. So this signal by itself does not guarantee that we are reversing from a bearish trend into a bullish trend, because once again, as I just explained, and as I explained around 2 weeks ago, we have now reset the RSI, which now gives us some more room to the downside to potentially resume this short-term bearish trend after we had a bit of a pause from that bearish trend. And in fact, if you're zooming into the much shorter term, looking at the 6-hour Bitcoin chart, right now, as of recording this video, the price of Bitcoin is running into some important support right here, which is sitting at around 25.8K to 25.9K approximately, if you're looking at the 6-hour candle closes. And what we have also seen over the last 1 day here on the 6-hour Bitcoin chart is a clear break to the downside in the 6-hour Bitcoin RSI, not only below this ascending line of support, but also into new lower lows. And so essentially what this means is this short-term bullish divergence is now clearly invalidated, because once again, we have now seen a breakdown in the RSI and lower lows, which is a sign of a reversal in the RSI. But obviously, either way, whether we broke the line of support or not, we were due to see at the very least a reset in the RSI, because like I said a few days ago, in the short term, the RSI entered into overbought territories, telling us we went too far to the upside too quickly, and we need some time to reset in the price and the RSI. And now that this short-term bullish divergence is basically invalidated, we could potentially see the resumption of that short-term bearish trend after, once again, a bit of a pause from that bearish trend that we've seen over the last 2 weeks or so as a result of this short-term bullish divergence divergence, and also the RSI on the daily time frame entering into oversold territories. But obviously, as of right now, none of those are still the case. Once again, the bullish divergence is now invalid, and we are no longer in oversold territories, which means we could potentially now resume that short-term bearish trend very soon. And on top of all of that, of course, we are now heading into September, which is one of the most bearish months for Bitcoin, historically speaking, because over the last 6 years in a row, the last 6 Septembers have all been bearish, and out of the last 10 years, only 2 Septembers have been bullish and 8 Septembers have been bearish over the last 10 years. But in contrast, October is pretty much the exact opposite. Over the last 10 years, 8 Octobers have been bullish and only 2 have been bearish. So in other words, September is usually bearish, not guaranteed, but usually bearish. And October, once again, is not guaranteed to be bullish, but is likely going to be bullish, once again, based on historical facts. And if you want to know more about those historical Bitcoin monthly returns, then check out my last 1 to 2 videos here on the channel. But now taking a look at the Bitcoin order books, and right now we have a lot of buy orders sitting at around 25.4k to 25.5k, and we also have another group of buy orders sitting at around 24.9k to 25k. And so basically those price areas should act as a bit of support in the short term. And as for resistance, looking at the sell orders, we have a lot of sell orders in between around 26.4k to around 26.5k. And so once again, that price range right there should act as a bit of short-term resistance for the price of Bitcoin. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily ETH to US dollar chart. And just like Bitcoin, Ethereum is getting extremely close to breaking below important support, because right now the price is running into this area of support in between around 1640 to 1.7k. And once again, like I said for Bitcoin earlier in the video, technically speaking, we are still within a short-term bearish trend, because we're still clearly seeing lower highs and lower lows in the price and the RSI on the daily time frame. And so despite the fact that we have recently seen a small bullish cross here in the daily Ethereum MACD showing some return in bullish momentum in the imminent short term, this alone is not enough to fully confirm a trend reversal from short-term bearish back to short-term bullish, because once again, as I've explained in recent videos here on the channel, we need to see more bullish confirmation in order to become more confident that we're actually flipping bullish again in terms of the trend. And so once again, as of right now, for the short-term trend, we are still currently more bearish than bullish. And like I said, around 2 weeks ago, we have now reset the RSI from those oversold territories around 2 weeks ago. And once again, this is a likely scenario that I was talking about around 2 weeks ago, saying that we are resetting the RSI with a pause from the short-term bearish trend. And that pause from the short-term bearish trend to help reset the RSI can play out in the form of either choppy sideways price action, if not a slight bullish relief, which is exactly what we saw over the last 2 weeks or so. But now that the RSI has reset out of those oversold territories, this technically means we have some more room to the downside to potentially continue that short-term bearish trend after seeing around a 2-week pause from the short-term bearish trend. And so once again, as I warned about 2 weeks ago, this signal by itself is not necessarily enough to confirm a trend reversal, because all it really means is just in the imminent short term, we have limited room to the downside, but we could potentially see a pause and a resumption of the trend later on, which is potentially what is now happening. And now if we do end up breaking below key support, so breaking below around 1640 approximately, with strong confirmation like daily candle closes, for example, well below 1640, then in that case, the next important support on the daily time frame is the 50% retracement level sitting at around 1510 to 1520. But in a more bearish scenario, if we actually see a move below 1.5k, then in that case, we have the golden pocket area of support sitting in between around 1360 to 1.4k. And if you're zooming into a smaller time frame, looking at the 6-hour ETH to US dollar chart, over the last 1 day, we have now seen this short-term bullish divergence now invalidate, because once again, like I said for Bitcoin earlier in the video, the 6-hour Ethereum RSI has now broken to the downside below this ascending line of support, and in the process formed a new lower low. And so once again, this is simply a confirmation signal pointing towards the invalidation of this short-term bullish divergence. And as I've been saying over the last 1 to 2 weeks or so, this short-term bullish divergence, combined with the fact that the daily RSI entered into oversold territories were two important reasons pointing towards a pause or a short-term bullish relief from that short-term bearish trend. But now that this bullish divergence is breaking and basically invalidated right now, and also the RSI has reset out of oversold territories, once again, these are both signals pointing towards the fact that we could now soon resume that short-term bearish trend, which I've been talking about for over a month. But if you want to know how to make a lot of money in crypto, no matter if the price is bearish, bullish, or simply chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is bullish or bearish using AI, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.